What's up, Magic fans? Jonathan here. You're getting ready to listen to our Anything But Magic mailbag. It went so long, actually over 3 hours, that we decided to break this up into two separate parts. So you're going to hear part one now, and then part two will actually come out on Monday. We talked a little bit about the Magic heading overseas to play this January, but then we get right into the Anything But Magic mailbag. Hope you guys enjoy it. This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts, Kevin Tucker and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic! What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. Today is July 31st, 2025. Jonathan Osborne here, as always, joined by my co-host, Kevin Tucker. Kevin, guten Abend.
Or as they say in the other place where the Magic are going to play, hello. No, just kidding. Magic going to Europe in just a few months. That's very exciting. Obviously, we're going to talk about that. But this is also a very special episode, Jonathan, the second annual Anything But Magic mailbag episode. But that does not mean we're not going to talk a little bit of Magic basketball at the top. But I'm excited for this one. How are you, man?
I'm fired up for this. Definitely one of the more fun episodes that we get to do during the off season. Happy to bring it back. Appreciate everybody that sent in questions. Obviously, we're going to get into those. We have like over 70 questions, so we don't really know exactly how.
It's like 100, bro. It's like
100. Okay, yeah. Perfect. So
you weren't wrong. It is over 70. I shouldn't have corrected you. You're right.
Well, I was definitely largely underselling it, so I appreciate the correction. But yeah, it's going to be a long pod. It might be the longest pod we've ever done. We don't really know yet, but yeah, the plan honestly was to not really talk about the Magic on this pod because we didn't think we were going to have anything special to talk about. And then we wake up this morning to the announcement that this January, the Magic are headed across the pond and they will take part in these games here. January 15th and January 18th, the Magic will take on the Memphis Grizzlies in Berlin, January 15th at the Uber Arena at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then on January 18th, so that's a Thursday, I believe you told me, Kev. And then that Sunday, the Magic will take on the Grizzlies again, but this time at the O2 in London at 12 p.m. Eastern. And the first thing that one of the first things that came to mind, apart from how insane this is going to be, is like how cool this is for a lot of our friends and listeners who live either in Germany or the UK. And man, we're going to talk about it, but I am really fired up about this opportunity for the Magic and for fans literally across the world.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'm very excited for them as well. And let's not get it twisted. There are going to be some Magic fans from Central Florida or from the United States that make this trip too. Like it's going to be a cool experience. Maybe us. I don't know. We're talking about it.
We're talking about it. It's a large chunk of change, but we're going to try to make it happen.
It's once in a lifetime. That's the thing. Truly. Which, I mean, maybe not, because this is the Magic's probably third time playing in London in my lifetime I can think of. So, but the thing that really sends it for me is the Berlin game. That's the one that does it for me because of the implications. It's the first regular season game ever in Germany, but obviously like the Magic have, half of Team Germany, it feels like. Not really, but obviously Mo and Franz are legends, not just in Germany, but in that city. That's their city. That's where they grew up. That's where they played, obviously adding Tristan there as well. I think that atmosphere and just the build up for that is going to be really, really special.
Yeah.
If it was just a London thing, I probably wouldn't think about going, honestly, which sounds a little silly. But add in Berlin, I think we might have to make it happen. It's going to be cool.
The only time I've ever left the good old US of A is I've been to Bimini once on a cruise for half a day, which doesn't count. And then I've been to Cozumel on a cruise. Like, you've been abroad, have you not?
I have. Yes.
I've never
get
been.
into that.
I got to get a passport.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, many of the questions in the mailbag later do involve, asking about international travel and stuff. I wanted to say a couple of things about this, Jonathan, because we talked about how exciting it is, and I think it is. One of the first, maybe not the first, the second or third thing I thought about after this was announced was like, what does this do for the team? We've got big goals this season, right? what does this do for the team? This is obviously very heavy travel schedule, but then they're also going to add some rest after the games because, the jet lag coming back and all that kind of stuff. They're going to add a little bit of extra rest after the games in Europe, which means the rest of the schedule could be condensed a little bit, which again adds to concern about travel and, games and all that kind of stuff. But then I started thinking, Jonathan, do you remember who played in the 2025 Europe NBA games in Paris?
The Spurs.
And
I don't know.
Remember the other team? The Indiana Pacers. And look what happened to them.
Worked out pretty well.
They made it to the NBA Finals. It worked out very well. I think they would have been NBA champions if Halliburton hadn't gotten hurt. And so I was like, you know what? I'm okay with this. At first, I was a little bit, I don't know, this season really? But now, all those things combined, I'm so excited for the Wagners. I'm so excited for Berlin. I'm so excited for that. And obviously, I'm so excited for our friends in the UK who get to experience that. It's going to be cool. And yeah, I've thrown out my concerns about the schedule and about the season. I'm good to go. Let's do it.
One of the biggest decisions I'm going to have to make is, do I wear a Franz or Mo Wagner Magic jersey, or do I wear my Deutschland Franz Wagner jersey? In Berlin, just it's crazy. I did not expect when I woke up this morning, when I opened my eyes, and I wake up a little later than some, maybe some would say most. Yeah. But when I saw the notification, I was like, am I going to Europe? It's a crazy thing, and I just can't imagine how special it's got to be for Mo and Franz, especially. Right. Literally, obviously everyone knows about Dirk, but these guys are ushering in a new golden age of German basketball, and they got to be the hottest thing since Schnitzel over there right now.
Okay, yeah. Well, the other thing, a couple more basketball related things other than Schnitzel, basketball related things that this does. I don't know which game is going to be which. I have a guess. That the Germany game is going to be the home game for the Magic. That's my prediction. Both going to be home of the games. Two.
Spoiler.
They are?
No, the atmosphere.
Oh no, I'm talking about in the scope of the NBA schedule. Because it's Memphis both games, so one of them is going to be a Memphis home game, one of them is going to be a Magic home game. So the Magic will only host 40 home games this year in Orlando. But I was going to say my prediction is the Germany game. They're going to count that as the home game for obvious reasons. That's going to be electric. But what I was going to say was this is very interesting from a drama standpoint. I don't know if there's a better way to put that, because this now takes away Desmond Bane's return to Memphis, which is interesting. Desmond Bane will not return to Memphis this season because their game against the Magic at home is going to be in Europe. The finals. Okay, yeah. Memphis is not making the finals against us. No, just kidding. And then less exciting, less drama, but still a little interesting. KCP does not come back to Kia Center this year.
We'll get over it.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I'm over it, actually.
But one thing that I think is not Magic related, but I saw on Twitter, Memphis fans are pretty, I shouldn't say all, some of the Memphis fans that I saw are pretty fired up because this takes away their annual MLK Day game, which I thought was very interesting. Memphis always hosts an MLK Day game, obviously because of the connections that Memphis has. And so that was a little surprising that I thought about it, that the NBA did that. But those are a couple little scheduling notes that I thought were interesting. We're not going to see Desmond Bane return to Memphis this year, which is interesting. But yeah, sign me up for the Orlando home game in Berlin. Let's go.
And some people were like, oh, like, which game are you guys going to go to? Like, for me, if we're going, it's a no-brainer that we're going for both games.
Of course. We're not going to fly 8-9 hours over the ocean for one game when they're playing the other game 3 days later, just like a 2-hour flight down the road. Like, no way. We're doing both.
You know what's crazy? I didn't even think of how long we're going to be over the water.
Bro, I texted you that. I said,
dude, oh my God.
I said, as long as you're okay with being in a airplane for 8 hours straight, because that's what it is.
The plane doesn't bother me.
Okay.
It's being over the water for
you
that
can swim,
amount
right?
of time.
You can swim.
Yeah, I can swim, bro, but I can't swim, 30,000 leagues under the sea or however deep it's going to, like the Marianas Trench. Like, I don't do water. Like,
that's okay.
If I can't see the bottom, I do not do that, bro. Like, even if going out into the Gulf here, like, if I can't see the bottom, I ain't getting in it.
Well, we'll just get you an aisle seat for that flight. You'll be fine. You won't look out the window at all.
Look, dude. If we're going down, you just strangle me and save me the having to deal with being in shark infested waters, or the Loch Ness or Megalodon comes to get us. Like,
well, good news.
My gosh.
Your seat can be used as a flotation device. Your seat cushion. So
doesn't
you'll be
matter,
fine.
bro. They can still get you. Don't matter.
Gosh, that is so.
I'm
funny.
gonna have to. I don't know. I'm gonna have to take some Xanax or something. I'm gonna be a little bit anxious for a while on that. If and when. But yeah, super fired up about that. It's just such a cool, like. Honestly, I'm right there with you. Like, even if it was London, I would think like, man, it would be pretty cool to go. But the fact that Berlin game with Franz and hopefully Mo is back. We're assuming he's going to be back by that time.
You think Mo's going to miss that? Come on.
No, but that's my thing. Like, what if he's not like, that's got to be, he's known about this for a while, I'm sure at this point, but that's got to be like marked on his calendar, like must be back by this game kind of thing. And yeah, that atmosphere I think will just be like, we always talk about European sports culture, and being able to witness it firsthand, I think will be one of the coolest things ever.
Yep. So. Hey, that's not a lot of if talking from Jonathan Oswin right there. You're saying when experiencing that will be.
Listen, man, I want to try. It's a lot of money. Let's like we're going. We just got some stuff to figure out, but I feel pretty confident that we're going to be there.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And by the way, if you're going, let us know. Because obviously we're going to do some kind of get together. However, I don't know what it's going to look like. We're going to need some help from the locals. I know we have a lot of people that watch the show, listen to the show from Germany. We have a lot of people that watch the show, listen to the show from the UK, from London. We're going to need all the input, all the help we can get to figure this thing out. Just attending the games and travel and organizing some sort of get together. It's going to be great. Can't wait. And sign me up for Europe in January,
man. And it's cold there in January, right?
It's gonna be cold.
When it comes to stuff like this, I'm so like naive. So
30s and 40s ish, probably for both of those cities.
All right, Kev, let's switch gears here and get into our Anything But Magic pod again. Appreciate everybody who sent in questions. If you didn't listen to the pod, I guess a year ago around this time, our last episode of July, last couple of years, we tried to do this, just kind of switch it up a little bit. To be totally honest, I don't know all what questions are in here. Kevin put everything together in a list, and I don't even know if he realizes every single question that's in here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to start with some of our patron questions through our Patreon. They either submitted it that way or through our Discord. So if you are interested at all in joining the Patreon, head over to patreon.com/the6man-show. But let's go ahead. Kev, do we just want to go back and forth reading these and going through these? Okay, I will start us off. So from Sir, would you rather see the future or experience a past good memory again, Kevin?
It's a really good question. Because obviously, most people have lost somebody in their, this is going to get heavy really fast, lost somebody in their life or something. And you're like, man, I wish I could relive times with them. But if I take that away, I think I would like to see the future. I know there's pros and cons to that, but I think I'm going to vote future because there's a lot of question marks I have. Which one would you do?
Well, when it comes to the fictional rules of time travel, I feel like if you saw your future that it would, affect it somehow, you would maybe make some decisions that, maybe you normally wouldn't, having certain things in mind. And then all of a sudden you get to that point and it's like, this doesn't look at all like what I saw. So just for the risk of screwing that up, I would probably go back and experience a past good memory again. Okay. And honestly, I don't really know what it would be. I would have to think about that. But they didn't ask us, which past good memory it would be. So maybe we can skip over that. But yeah, I think that's where I would go. Past good memory.
Good. All right. Jinx Two-Face from our Patreon Discord says, do you or Kevin have any tattoos? Jonathan, do you have any tattoos?
I do have some tattoos. I'm not going to pull all of them out right now and get naked on camera here. I have a tattoo on my leg that is Mikasa and Levi Ackerman from Attack on Titan. I actually have a Boy Meets World quote on my arm. I have another tattoo that is a Giants helmet and a like jewelry cross that belonged to my oldest brother's father before he passed away. So it's kind of like a memorial piece to him. I have like a kind of like Japanese like koi dragon kind of tattoo that goes from like my outer bicep onto my shoulder and then down onto my chest. I have an Orlando Magic logo on the outside of my arm. I have a Spider-Man tattoo on the top of my bicep, and then my whole like right inner bicep, I have a Rengoku from Demon Slayer tattoo, and I believe that's it. I'm pretty sure that's all of them.
That's it. Wow. Okay. But you are going to get a tattoo. I know this is anything but Magic, but when the Magic win their first championship, you're going to get a Magic tattoo. Do you know what it's going to be?
Well, one of the things I will do is add like the Larry O'Brien trophy behind the Magic logo that I have. Okay. And then I don't know, I might do something crazy, like get all of the names of the team, like the players on the team that, you know, something weird. I don't know. I'll have to do something special. Just depends how I feel. Maybe it'll be like a huge mural of every single player from that team. That would be kind of weird, but I don't know.
I'll answer the question first, then I'll answer that additional question that I added. I do have one tattoo. It is on my thigh. I cannot show it to you. It is a tattoo that I got with 3 of my best friends. We were in a band together for many, many years, and we became best friends. And so we all have the same matching tattoo on our right thigh, which is pretty cool.
When are we getting a 6-man show tattoo?
Oh, in Berlin, maybe. That's when we need to do it.
Oh, snap. All right. Now we're talking.
Okay, here's what I will do. I've already decided this many, many years ago. I once saw I think it was on his calf, a tattoo of, you remember the Dwayne Wade LeBron lob, you know, over the shoulder thing, you know, that like Jalen and Cole. There's a sick tattoo of that on somebody's calf. What it inspired me to do is whatever iconic play happens in the road to the Magic's championship that season, like some iconic game winner in the playoffs, and maybe it's not, maybe it's just the team lifting the trophy. I don't know, but I'm going to get some sort of like actual, like realistic tattoo on my calf depicting that moment. And I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I love that. Okay. Hammy Schmerda, he said, if you had to choose one series to erase from humanity between Marvel, Harry Potter, and Star Wars, which one would you choose?
This is tough because the diehard fan bases of each of those are pretty vicious.
Yeah.
And so if I were to do that, if I were to erase one of those, I'm probably at risk of being canceled by one of those groups. I'm a not big, like I really like Marvel, so I'm not getting rid of Marvel. I do like Harry Potter a lot, but Star Wars has a lot of like longtime cultural references, and it's just, I don't know. It's really tough, but I also like Harry Potter world though. I'm going to say Harry Potter. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. I'm saying Harry Potter, out of here. Barely.
I would guess from our like listener base, that's probably the safest of the 3. I would guess we have more like Star Wars and Marvel fans. So one, like Harry Potter were like the first books that I ever read as a kid. And really it's really the only book series like I've ever really loved. I've just never been able to get into reading outside of the Harry Potter series. And all the nostalgia that comes with that, I have to keep Harry Potter, and like probably if not my very favorite like fictional character in existence is Spider-Man. So I'm not getting rid of Marvel.
Right.
Unfortunately, it would be Star Wars, but I do love Star Wars. But I had the same kind of thought that you did in reading this. I'm like, man, we're going to make some people really mad by saying we're getting rid of their favorite thing. But all 3 of these things are great. Just Star Wars is my least favorite of those 3.
Mm-hmm, for sure. All right. Jinx Two-Face says, have you ever traveled internationally? And what is your best vacation ever? So you kind of answered the traveled internationally thing earlier, but do you have like a favorite vacation you've ever been on?
Yeah. So internationally, I don't think cruises count in my opinion. Like if you go to a cruise to, I don't know, wherever, unless you do one of those crazy cruises where they take you like across the Atlantic and you're going to like, you know, another continent, that is a little bit different to me. But like, I don't count me going to like Bimini, which I don't even know if Bimini is part of, I don't know, what is it, like the Virgin Islands? Is that part of the US? I don't know this kind of stuff. And then like Cozumel, like I was in the Gulf of then Mexico for the entire time. Now, I guess it's the Gulf of America is what we're going with now. But so I don't really count that. So I'll just say not technically to me. My best vacation ever was actually my wife and I's honeymoon. So we were married in March of 2017. And then what we wanted to do is we wanted to experience New York City at Christmas time. So we didn't have a honeymoon right away. We pushed it off to the end of the year. And then we spent like 4 days in the city. And man, like, not to hype up New York because I would never live there, versus Florida, like some of the Knicks fans that show up at Kia Center. But like, there's just something really special about like the energy of that city. And there's just so much to see, so much history. Obviously, the food is incredible. And, it helped that I had a beautiful woman with me. So, that is my favorite vacation that I've ever been on. What about you?
Love that. Internationally, I've traveled to Hungary and Romania and Colombia, outside of like cruises and stuff. But my favorite vacation ever, I think, was probably I did Yosemite and San Francisco. Yosemite, which I haven't done like a lot of the amazing national parks around the country, so I know there are some that are, if you're a snob for it, you're like, Yosemite, really? But for me, like, I had some of the most amazing scenery I've ever seen in my life. It was amazing. It was awesome. Got to go with my whole family, all 7 of us. And so that was really, really special. And that's probably my favorite vacation ever. But I do love New York. Went to Acadia National Park up in Maine. That was great as well. So lots of different cool places. But
quick question here. People, I've never been to Yosemite. I've heard great things. People hate on Yosemite like it's not a cool thing to do. Like there are better parks to see than Yosemite. I don't know
about hating, but like there's a whole section of Americans that are like national park snobs. They've been to all of them. That's what they do. And if they were to rank them, Yosemite's not up there very high. I don't know about not very high. It's not at the top because it's very popular. Like it's touristy. There's a lot of people that go visit. Whereas some of the other national parks are a little more secluded and, elite. I don't know if that
this isn't a national park, but like in the last year, I've become aware of Banff, like in Canada. And that, if you've not seen pictures of that, it's like the most fantastic, majestic looking thing that you could ever experience. But
yeah,
anyways. We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our friends over at Jam Hot Chicken, proudly serving the city beautiful. Jam Hot Chicken is bringing Jam's culture and hot chicken to the heart of Winter Park. Jam Hot Chicken is a Nashville and LA-inspired hot chicken shack locally owned and operated in Winter Park, located at 400 West New England Avenue, Suite 13 in Hannibal Square. Be sure to follow them at Jam Hot Chicken on all social media. Head over to jamhotchickenfl.com to their website. You can find their menu, online ordering, and all things Jam Hot, and now also available on Uber Eats. So if you don't want to leave the comfort of your home, but you're in the mood for the box, download the Uber Eats app and get Jam delivered right to your door. Not only do we partner with them because the food is fantastic, but because their owner, Andrew Scala, is a massive diehard Orlando Magic fan, and he's just super passionate about bringing great food to Central Florida and his Orlando Magic. So be sure to stop by and let them know that your friends over at the Six Man Show sent you.
Also want to take time to shout out our patrons. These are the people that financially support what we do here at the Six Man Show. And on each and every episode, we shout out a handful of our Hall of Fame and elite tier patrons, such as Daniel Flores, Brynjar Halderson, Kane Eckler, Shahin177, and Jeremiah Quintero. Shout out to all of you and to all of our patrons, again, who have chosen to financially support the show. If you would like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/The6Man Show, where you can see the different tiers that we have available. Each one has different benefits, different perks that come with it. Things like access to our Patreon Discord, access to ad-free episodes, which is something we've added this summer, and other things like that. And so again, if any of that interests you, or you just want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/The6Man Show. And now let's get back to the episode. I guess this one's me. Hammy Schmurda says, if you could choose only one condiment to use for the rest of your life, what would it be? That's a great question. I really appreciate that question. Jonathan, do you know what you would choose? This is a big one.
One condiment. I mean, oh my gosh, it would probably just have to be. Oh my, this is gonna be so plain Jane, but I would just have to go like ketchup, like because no, like I like barbecue sauce. Like barbecue sauce is my favorite condiment, but I don't think I would want to put it on everything. Like it's kind of like too much for that to be like your go-to condiment forever. Where ketchup is like just bland enough that like I think I could get away with putting it on, pretty like, for example, I would never put barbecue sauce on a hot dog. Right. And like ketchup, I there's nothing. I'm like, yeah, I could put it on. Like if a condiment, if it calls for a condiment, I could put ketchup on it. Barbecue sauce, depending on what it is, like you're getting into some weird kind of territory there.
Yeah. There are a couple safe picks in my mind. Chick-fil-A sauce, I think, is very versatile. I think that'd be good.
Oh, dude, you'd be a diabetic within a year.
Well, no, obviously this is, I'm throwing out that kind of stuff. I think some people love ranch. Some people hate it, but I think ranch is a safe pick. But my pick, and I'm going to be judged here, is mayonnaise. I'm a big mayonnaise guy. I think mayonnaise goes well with everything. And again, if I'm throwing out the health factor, I'm picking mayonnaise. That's my choice.
I love mayonnaise, but I just couldn't be like, that's the only thing that I get to use.
I don't know. I love mayonnaise. Always have,
like,
always will.
I know there are people that do like mayonnaise on like fries and stuff. I can't get there with it. And I do like, I don't want to have a burger unless there's a layer of mayonnaise on that bun, right? Like sandwiches, macaroni salads, all that kind of stuff. I'm all about the mayonnaise.
Right.
What a statement that is. But I personally don't know that I could do that as like the go-to forever.
Part of it is also I enjoy fries without sauces and condiments and stuff. So I wouldn't necessarily be dipping all my fries and stuff like that in it. But that's fair. That's fair.
Appreciate that.
What do we got next?
Fair enough. Okay. Migo asks, what are your day jobs?
Good question. So my day job is I am what's called a live event producer. So basically what that is if you go to like concert or conferences or those kinds of things, there's these people in the back that are usually wearing black, and they're the people that make the lights come on at the right time and make sure you can hear the people at the right time and the microphones and all that kind of stuff. That is what I do. I kind of oversee that world of things. So my day job in particular, I do that at a large church here in town where I work, but I also do that freelancing for events and things like that as well. So yeah, I'm a live event producer. Very fun.
And I work for a software company. It's not as exciting as it sounds. I don't do anything on like the technical side of things. I'm entirely customer facing. I am what is called an implementation specialist. And basically all I do is help onboard our new customers to get them accustomed and get them set up with our software so that they can start using it on like their day-to-day basis. So very boring.
Yeah. Sounds great though. Okay. Jinx Two Face says, any special mentors in life? Wow. That's a deep one.
Mentors. Yeah, I have a few people that I would, refer to as mentors. Like obviously, like my dad, any, kind of plain Jane answer there. But, my pastor, who's one of my best friends, I rely on him pretty heavily for advice. Another one of my, best friends, his name is Cedric. Stuff in life that, I'm just stressing, I need some advice. And not just like, hey, I need you to validate what I'm about to do, but like, hey, if you don't agree with what I'm doing, like I think it's important to have people like that in your life, not people like not yes men, that are just going to tell you kind of what you want to hear. But people that can call you out, like when you're acting out of character and kind of set you back on the right path. And I mean, really, I lean on all my friends. Like, I wouldn't call Kevin necessarily a mentor, but he's another person in my life who's like input and opinion, I value a lot. He is, quite a few years older than me, so maybe he could be a mentor. But yeah, I just, rely pretty heavily on like my, group of good friends for stuff like that.
My answer is very similar. I have a few, especially just a little bit older, a little bit wiser, a couple that are significantly older and wiser. And I always, one of the things we talked about, we're not going to talk a ton about our faith here at the beginning because we always want to be sensitive to the fact that that's not for everybody, and that's that is what it is. Later in the Q&A, we have a couple questions that we saved for that. But I always say a great place to find mentors is in a faith community as well. So find people that are a little bit older, a little bit wiser than you, have the same worldview as you, maybe not the same, but at least a similar one. I think is always cool. Okay. Oh wait, you asked that. I asked that one, so it's your turn. There you go.
Okay, Sir wants to know: would you rather read minds or be able to fly?
Fly for sure. Absolutely. I don't care what other people think. Most of the time, I don't want to know what other people think. But the ability to fly over traffic, the ability to fly to Berlin, in a few months for free, that'd be great. Sign me up for flying all day. That'd be amazing.
You remember when Paolo, there was some social media video earlier in the year, and he was asked about time travel or something like that, and he's like, you can't give somebody like me time travel. I feel like the ability to read minds, it would be so hard for you to not find yourself manipulating people because you know exactly what they're thinking. So
of course,
honestly, because of that reason, and I wouldn't want to have that weighing on my conscience. The thing is, if you were looking at this as what would make me the most money, being able to read people's minds would probably be a good way to go. But for, sanity and, ethics purposes, I would probably just go with the ability to fly, which would be pretty cool. And, you could probably find a way to make a living as well from, being able to fly,
Of course.
So, yeah, I would go with the ability to fly.
Love that. Okay. This is from kind of a B Dill, another one of our patrons. Says, is the Earth round or flat, Jonathan?
I don't know because I haven't personally, seen it. But from all of the people that I trust, and it seems like we have a lot of evidence that says the Earth is round. But like I just said, have seen less than 1% of this planet to be able to say, oh, I know for a fact, but I believe that it's round.
I'm very confident that it is round. That is, yeah. I'll trust the science, and yeah, it's round. It's round.
Okay, next up we have Jinx Two Faces asking, what is your dream car?
I like fantasizing about the really, really fancy electric cars, not the Tesla. I mean, Teslas are nice, and obviously Plaid Model S's are great and all that kind of stuff. But I'm in the category now of the Lucid Air, the Sapphire version, the $250,000, 1,200 horsepower electric car. That thing is sick. The new Cadillac Escalade, the electric, I think they call it the IQ. That thing's sick. Those things, sign me up for those. Those are pretty hot. What about you?
So, once upon a time, I owned a 2014 GT Premium Mustang. That was a manual transmission, and that's the favorite car that I've ever had. And then when I started to have kids, obviously it wasn't as practical. So that 2014 GT Premium turned into a 2020 Chrysler Pacifica minivan. So my practical dream car, I would love at some point to have a 2014 Shelby GT 500. Just the next step up from what I had, but that same kind of body style. But if we're talking money is no object, I've got crazy kind of money, a Ferrari F8 Tributo. That is my actual dream car, but that's the one that's pretty unrealistic unless I hit the Powerball or something crazy happens. But either the 2014 Shelby GT 500 or the Tributo.
Okay, that's very, very cool. Jinx Two Face also says, what bones have you broken? Jonathan, have you broken any bones in your life?
The only bone that I have broken in my entire life is my right pinky. And
really?
Funny enough, my right pinky, we were playing two-hand touch football. This is probably 7-8 years ago. And I've got on basketball shorts, and I'm I'm trying to get into a double move. I'm really trying to get into it. And my right pinky gets caught in the pocket of my shorts as I'm going to run, and I just felt a pop, and I was man, that really hurt. I've sprained fingers before, but I was like, man, like I'm pretty sure I just broke my pinky. And then I'll never forget my friend who, you know, was like like an EMT at the time. He's like, oh yeah, no, it's not broken. You're totally fine. So I had a doctor's appointment with my primary care physician a couple weeks later, like on my birthday, actually. I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure, you know, nothing's going on here, but like I hurt my pinky a few weeks ago and it's all like black and blue still and it hurts really bad. And he's like, yeah, I think you broke it. I think you go need to get an x-ray. Sure enough, on my birthday, I go get an x-ray and I get this big old cast on my hand for, you know, 6-8 weeks or whatever because I broke my pinky. And to this day, I can move this pinky down without like the ring finger really going with it. This other one, if I start to go down, you see it drags down that ring finger. And yeah, that's the only bone I've ever broken, actually.
Wow.
I wish it was a cooler story, but it's not.
I see. I have broken 2. So one of them was also playing football in middle school. It was also, I think it was 2-hand touch or flag. It wasn't tackle, but a guy fell into my leg and almost kind of like the ACL tear territory, which was really scary. But instead of tearing anything, actually fractured it was a small fracture, but fractured the head of my tibia, like the very top of your shin bone. Not a good time. But the other one that was actually worse was, I think it was 7 years old. And at a gas pump, you know how they have like the concrete like obstructions to keep you from driving into the gas pump. Some of them are poles, but some of them are like round, like semicircle things, right? So 7-year-old me thought it was fun while my family was pumping gas to sit on one of those and like pretend like it was a rodeo, like ride it like a horse or a bucking bronc or whatever. And I fell off of it and my wrist fell right on like the concrete curb of the gas pump, like boom, right on the corner. Yeah, fractured my wrist then. So those are the 2 broken bones that I have.
And your entire sternum.
Oh, that is true. That is true. I guess that's true. I did have my entire sternum broken, but that was intentionally, and it wasn't broken. It was sawed in 2. So I forgot about that. That's a good point. That's really funny. Okay. Oh wait, it's your turn. I'm just going to skip you. I'm so sorry.
Zatebi Potsi asks, if you had to choose, would you be a snail or a spider?
Well, I already know your answer, Mr. Spider-Man. But for me, I think it's going to be spider as well. I mean, they got a lot of moves, right? They got a lot of legs, can move a lot of different directions. Most of them can, do the whole web thing, which is pretty cool. Snails do have the protection of the shell. You can't undermine that. You can't, but I'm going to go spider for sure. And you're spider too, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, spider. Snail, just too slow. They leave like that trail of slime and it's disgusting. And yeah, I want to be a spider. I would rather get bit by a radioactive spider and then have spider powers, but that wasn't really an option here.
Yeah, that wasn't
going spider.
Yeah. S Gaines 059 says, what is both of your top 5 fast food places? This is right up Jonathan's alley. So I'm definitely
this is
curious
tough
about
though.
this.
Like to just off the rip go like top 5 fast food places. I can't do an order right now. That would take too long for me to like sit down and really figure that out. I'm gonna go Cookout. We've talked about Cookout. It's just the milkshakes. It doesn't matter like what place you list. No place that I've been comes close to like the quality and variety on that end. But also just like the food is like really solid. Like whether it's the chicken nuggets or the quesadilla, like they have like a good variety of burgers. It's not like you're just getting a burger with mayonnaise, ketchup, and mustard. Like you can do like the jalapenos and like the grilled onions and all that kind of stuff there. So I'm going Cookout is definitely up there. I think you have to go like Chick-fil-A, just like based off of principle, right? And then I'm going to go Wendy's. Wendy's is very underrated, very versatile menu. And then I'm also going to go Arby's. Arby's is another place that is just super duper underrated. The best fries in the game. Yep. You know what? I can't do a top 5. I can do maybe like a top 8 because I have to throw. Does Jersey Mike's count as fast food?
Well, I was going to ask you if Chipotle counts as fast food because both of them don't have drive-throughs. At least I've never seen a Jersey Mike's with a drive-through.
No, okay,
but they're fast.
I don't think it counts as fast food.
Okay.
I guess it has to have a drive-through. Cookout has a drive. Yeah, let's go with the drive-through joints.
All right.
I have to throw Steak and Shake in there. I'm a big Steak and Shake guy. Some people aren't going to like this, but Burger King, The flame grill patties, just not a lot of other people doing that.
At this point, you're just naming all of them. You're naming all the
you know
fast
what?
food
It's bad.
choices.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I could go on and on. I think I did 6. If I had to keep it to 5, I'd get rid of Burger King and keep Steak and Shake.
Yeah. Mine's pretty similar. Chick-fil-A's in there. You and I both love Arby's. We've talked about that many times. It's very underrated. A lot of people hate on Arby's and they just don't know, what they're missing. Cookout's definitely there. I also love McDonald's. Like, McDonald's is good. I would put that in my top 5. It's just classic American fast food. I think that puts me at 4. So, I like Taco Bell as well. Taco Bell is the nostalgic one for me. So yeah, it is what it is. Perfect. It's your turn, and you get to ask a question about me. How about that?
Yeah, Jinx 2 F Jace. I guess.
I think it's face. I think there's a typo. It's probably
okay. All right.
Oh wait, no. Maybe it is. Maybe I've been saying it wrong.
Have we been saying it wrong for literally years?
I always just skip over the J. It does say
I've never noticed that before. I'm so confused right now. But anyway, how is Kevin's recovery? He's doing just fine.
I'm glad you answered that for me. No, just kidding. I'm doing mostly fine. I've still got some issues, still got some small things, but this was obviously a big surgery that takes quite a long time to fully recover from. Some things won't ever be the same. Let's be honest. You talked about my sternum. I've got a bump in my sternum and a dip in my sternum that wasn't there a year ago. So that's a new thing. It's not painful, but it's like, oh, that's new. My brain's not the same. That's one thing. Just to be super vulnerable. If you look up the word pump head, it refers to people that were on the heart-lung machine, or they call it the pump, in surgeries and heart surgeries. And the longer you're on it, it can sometimes give you some kind of brain fog and kind of mess with your, different parts of your brain. I definitely am a pump head. I was on the pump for, I think, 322 minutes, which is crazy. They only want you on it for like 120 to 180 minutes, so 2 to 3 hours. I was on double that because of my surgery. And so sometimes my brain, like, it doesn't exactly work like it used to, especially when it comes to talking. So sometimes you'll hear me stumble over words or stutter, or I can't think of words, but it's not bad. Like, it's just little things that happen every once in a while. But outside of that, I'm alive, feeling good, physically doing things I haven't been able to do in a long time. So yeah, I'm pretty good. So how are you doing in my recovery, Jonathan?
I think I'm doing pretty well with your recovery. That was a really crazy time, and just grateful, first of all, for like all the support that like listeners and like people that you and I don't even know, that like contributed to the GoFundMe and everything like that. So I'm just happy that you're doing well. But I don't have pump head, but like just since I've turned 30, like my brain just doesn't seem to work as well. So that on top of what you're experiencing, that certainly can't be fun.
Yep. Okay. Kind of a B-Dill says, how severe should Michigan's punishment from the NCAA be for the worst on-field cheating scandal in college football history? I know you're a bit of a college.
This.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. I know you're a bit of a college football fan, maybe not the biggest. Just to make a super long story short, Michigan had a guy on the sideline that was caught cheating in a variety of different ways, including being on sidelines of other teams, going to other teams' games.
I did hear about this.
Like, there's a whole like filming stuff. I mean, it's very deep, very broad. Didn't just involve one guy. One guy took the fall for it, but it was organization wide essentially. So, but they also won a national championship a couple years ago.
So that should be stripped.
I think it's going to be. Yeah. I think that's the punishment that should happen. I also, now that I think about this, I believe the asker of this question is an Ohio State fan. Now that I remember this now. That's why you're asking that question. And that is very funny. So I give you credit for that. I didn't even think about it until you asked that. That's pretty funny. Okay. Your turn. Another one.
So Jinx to F Jace, Jordan or LeBron. So this is going to be, I think, the most controversial since the Marvel, Harry Potter, Star Wars question.
Yeah. Here's what I always say. I say LeBron is the most talented basketball player in the history of the sport. I think he is the most gifted, the most athletic. Obviously, he's got the longevity that we've never seen before, the most talented. I still think the greatest, though, is Michael Jordan. I really do. Like, he just... And what I don't like is when people compare film, right? They say look at what MJ did. Now look at what LeBron did. He does things that are 10 times better. That's true. But it was also a totally different era. It's one of those things like MJ walked or MJ ran so LeBron could run even better. I don't know, right? Like Michael Jordan did things in the 90s, late 80s and into the 90s that we had never seen before. And that set the groundwork for the guys that we saw in the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s now. And so I don't know though. LeBron, can we have two GOATs? Is that a thing? Is that possible? If I have to pick one,
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I think they're both the two best of all time, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I have some ground rules for whenever I have this conversation with people. One is like you have to be operating in good faith and like not be overly biased one way or the other when we go into the conversation. Because some people, when you have this conversation, they want to go, oh, 6 for 6. And then they don't want to acknowledge like, you know, like the first round, like losses by MJ or like Michael Jordan losing to the Orlando Magic in 1995. But then they want to discredit LeBron for making it to the finals,
right?
But then losing. Like you can't really have your cake and eat it too. And then like when they go, oh, well, he has 6 rings. Well, it's like, well, what about Bill Russell then? Like, is Bill Russell the GOAT then? Because if not, then we kind of have to like not completely ignore the rings conversation, but it can't be like your most important point as we start to talk about that. So I just find it incredibly difficult to compare eras because context, nuance, and the game is just so much different than it was. What I won't really back away from is I do believe that we are currently in the era of basketball where players are more talented and skilled than they ever have been before. Like, you don't see many guys in the league nowadays who like the only thing they can do on a floor is shoot threes. Like, you don't really see like the Steve Kerr, like Kyle Korver, like kind of types anymore in the league. Like, you have to be able to defend, or you also have to be able to rebound and play make, or, you know, create your own shot, like to really have longevity and like a long career in the NBA. So I just do think when you look at everything and you look at the longevity of LeBron, like he is the best and greatest basketball player that we've ever seen. Now, when you want to talk about the legend and the mythos and like what Michael Jordan did for the league, nobody will ever come close to that. One is just because like nostalgia, in my experience, is one heck of a drug, and like people don't want to let go of like their guy. And I'll admit that like me living through the LeBron era skews this conversation and skews my opinion a little bit. But nobody will ever be able to do for the NBA and for basketball what Michael Jordan did. And because of that, like you will always be able to argue that he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Another one from Jinx2FJ says, favorite snack. What is your favorite snack, Jonathan?
Oh, my favorite snack? Ooh,
mine's I know it instantly if you need time to think, because mine's Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its are my favorite snack.
Yeah,
period.
Go for it.
Yeah, Cheez-Its. I do eat Cheez-Its for full meals sometimes. Like Cheez-Its my favorite, easily my favorite salty snack.
I will probably go like beef jerky. Just because, like, you know, a lot of times if you're at a gas station or somewhere, like it's one of the less like processed things. I know it's still processed to an extent, but it's like one of the lesser processed things that you can find. And there's all different kind of flavors. And if you get like a really like high quality jerky, like it's tender, it's not super chewy. And I would probably go beef jerky like right off the rip. But like, I don't know. That's a tough one for me.
When I think about a snack, though, I'm thinking like you're sitting at home watching a Giants game on your couch. Like, what are you chowing down on? Is it beef jerky?
No, but that's just like when I think of snacks, I think of like if you're going to the gas station on a road trip, like what are you grabbing?
Sure. Yeah.
So for me, like it is usually beef jerky, or like if I'm on the way to the golf course and I stop, you know, to get some Gatorades or whatever, I'm also snagging like a stick of beef jerky or like a bag of beef jerky or something like that.
Yeah, that's
if
fair.
I'm sitting at home, combos is a really big one. I love combos, whether it's like the pizzeria flavor or like the buffalo blue cheese. But I'm also a massive Cheez-Its guy. Like Cheez-Its are incredibly underrated.
Yep.
Go to your snack.
Yep. 100%.
Okay. Jinx2FJ, one more time here, or maybe one more time. I don't know. Another time. Favorite supervillain?
This one's tough.
What classifies as a super villain?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, is it just?
Are we talking like Thanos level villains? Like that's
right.
There's only a handful of those.
Yeah, I mean, I do love Thanos as a super villain.
What if we just say like like fictional villain, like your favorite fictional villain? Yeah,
right. I mean, that's tough. Like, I really do like Thanos. Darth Vader's like just storyline, I think, is really cool and interesting. Sauron's is interesting too from Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I'm also not like you're a big like anime comics type. Are there any villains in there that you like have a favorite or anything like that?
Well, I love Green Goblin, obviously, from Spider-Man. Love Carnage and Venom. The thing that I'm really appreciating the more that I've gotten into anime is just like how likable, like, and I don't know if it's like a Japanese culture thing and like some of the themes that are really prevalent in anime, but like redemption is just like a massive theme in like most anime. Like there will be a villain and at first like you absolutely hate them, you despise them, but almost every anime that I've watched, comes a point in their arc or their story where they kind of show you like how they became like the bad guy. And usually it's this really like just heartbreaking story that makes you like sympathize for them. And a lot of times like they will have like a redemption arc where all of a sudden like you love them again. So I think of like Itachi Uchiha from Naruto, who like for, I don't know, 75 to 80% of Naruto and Shippuden, like you're just convinced that he's like this awful person. But then when you find out more of the truth, like he's my favorite character from Naruto. So I would probably say Itachi Uchiha, even though, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I mean, that's been out for a billion years. By the end, he's not such a bad guy.
Okay, gotcha. All right, got another one here from Kind of a B Dill. It's a two-parter, one for you and one for me. I appreciate this. This is for Jonathan. Says, as a Giants fan, how difficult was it to watch Saquon Barkley win the Super Bowl with the Eagles? We'll start with that one.
It was one of the most painful things I've ever had to experience as a sports fan, for a number of different reasons. One, it was the freaking Eagles. Honestly, like I've come around a little bit more on Saquon. Saquon actually very recently did a golf YouTube video with one of my favorite golf YouTubers, Grant Horvat, and like just being able to, I haven't watched really anything of Saquon like in a lot of depth since he left the Giants, but just being reminded of like how good of a dude he genuinely is, I was like, as much as I want to hate this guy, there's still a big part of me that loves him. Like I have a Saquon Barkley signed mini helmet like right over my finger, like right back there. But again, because it was the Eagles, like he literally could have gone to, 28 other teams and I would have been perfectly fine with, like, even if he had gone to like the Commanders, like in the NFC East, I would have been okay because I don't have the same disdain for the Commanders that I do the Eagles or the Cowboys. It's just like, bro, you could have went anywhere other than those two teams and I still would have been a fan of yours for life. So that element of it, and just the fact that every single person in my life has not let me forget about Saquon Barkley, not only leaving for the Giants, but like leaving the Giants, but going to the Eagles and then not only being good, but having historically like potentially the greatest season that a running back has ever had, capping it off with the Super Bowl and everything like that. And the fact that it was just so good, legitimately one of the most painful things I've ever had to experience as a sports fan.
And I'll just add to your list of accomplishments and accolades, one of the greatest highlights in NFL history with that backwards hurdle thing. Just add that to it. I genuinely felt so bad for you. I really did.
Yeah, thanks.
I felt so bad for you.
And my friends, like, even to this day, like, I'm like, guys, it's been a year. Like, okay, the joke is getting old. Like, every single thing that comes up of Saquon, it still gets sent to me.
Yeah, I feel for you. All right, the second part of his question says, for Kevin, how many goals does Victor Gyökeres score this year for Arsenal? Is it enough to get over one of the big hurdles?
What are the big hurdles?
Winning one of the two big trophies, winning.
So
winning
like Premier League or Champions League
or the Champions League, right? Yeah, okay. That's what he's referring to. I'm not holding my breath, not because I don't think he'll be good, but I've just been burned so many times from big signings. Not that we've made any kind of significant striker signings in the last few years. I mean, you could say Jesus maybe, but I mean, obviously he's a little older and washed up. And plus, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I watch the Portuguese league a lot. Like, obviously he's very hyped, but we'll see. I'm not holding my breath. I still wish there were a couple other moves we made this summer, but I'm still very excited. Should be a very good year. And I'm trying to figure out how I can see Arsenal while we're over there watching the Magic play. I'm going to figure it out.
They're not playing.
They're not at home. They have an away game the day before, but that could always get moved to the day of the game, and then I'm screwed. But there is a Champions League window the Tuesday, Wednesday after the Magic game. And so if I have to stay an extra 48 hours to see the Arsenal, I will. But we'll figure that out later. So
really quickly, I had to add one more thing about the Saquon thing that people just always ignore. One, I always say I always hear, I can't believe the Giants traded Saquon Barkley. The Giants did not trade Saquon Barkley.
Right.
He left on his own volition in free agency. And from the year prior to last year with Tyrone Tracy Jr., the Giants were more efficient in the run game because of the money that they didn't pay Saquon Barkley. They were able to bolster up the offensive line a little bit, and our all-pro left tackle, Andrew Thomas, was hurt most of the year last year. So had we just kept Saquon, what would have happened is the Giants still would have been terrible, and they would have said, man, look at these idiots. I can't believe they paid a running back. The Giants, because of the signing with Daniel Jones, put them in that situation, which was a no-win situation no matter what happened. So hopefully that's the last we ever have to talk about Saquon Barkley on this podcast.
Perfect. You're up.
Okay. Just Call Me _RR asks the craziest Sixth fan show and watch party moments of the past season.
Can I say something painful? I don't know that we had one this past season that was really super notable. The year before we had many. I can even think back a couple years, the watch party with the Chicago road game, and the Jalen Suggs game winner. That one, I wasn't there, but I know that was a really special one for the fantastic watch party standpoint. But then thinking about even in the playoffs, we've lost every road game that we've played the last 2 years in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So none of those watch parties were great.
I will say Paolo game 5 in Cleveland, going off, Franz has the layup at the rim to, I think, tie the game there, and Evan Mobley blocks it. That crowd as Paolo's going off in the Magic are in that game. Yeah. That was pretty special to be at. But yeah, this past year, the craziest thing that happened was the first game of the year, the Magic blowing out the Miami Heat. That was pretty cool. We've had some watch parties. I remember Paolo's debut. We were at Elixir downtown, and there was a fan walking on the bar during that game. That was pretty crazy. And then obviously winning, it was a watch party. It wasn't a game watch party, but winning the lottery, that watch party obviously was insane.
Yeah.
We've had some crazy stuff, just not really this season, unfortunately.
But yeah, 23-24, the Six fan show after Game 6 outside of Kia Center was unhinged. That was, if you haven't seen that, you should go watch that because that is crazy. That was really, really fun. Okay, SMG 177. We got the last few questions from our patrons here. It says Battlefield or COD, Call of Duty. Jonathan.
I will say if I'm playing for single player kind of story mode, I would probably go Battlefield. Game for game, I probably appreciate the combat in Battlefield a bit more, but just because of how popular Call of Duty is, everybody plays Call of Duty, and it's kind of weird to call them the good old days, but the good old days of COVID, the first few months of lockdown, playing Warzone all the time, that's one of the most fond video game memories that not only the last 5 or 10 years, but of my life. It was just so much Warzone coming out. The OG Verdansk and the way that game felt, it was just so viral. Everybody was playing it. I would just probably lean Call of Duty because of that time in my life.
Yeah, I'm Call of Duty for sure. I didn't play a ton of Battlefield growing up or ever, so I'm definitely team Call of Duty. Especially love Black Ops, all the Black Opses. Those are my favorites. I know people are going to clown on me. People think Modern Warfare is more elite, whatever. I just enjoyed Black Ops more. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I'm, by the way, still lethal with a crossbow and a tomahawk. So watch your back for those insta kills. Okay.
Next up, Mama Richmond wants to know, where is the coolest place you have traveled?
It's kind of like what we talked about earlier. I think Yosemite was awesome. I saw things I've never seen before. Just the wildlife there, the nature, the scenery. Like it's straight out of a postcard. There's a reason why it's literally a postcard all the time. So probably Yosemite. I'll go with that.
Yeah, mine's probably New York. I'm trying to think like outside of that. I mean, I've been to Atlanta, I'm really showing like how I just haven't been anywhere. Like Atlanta's like, top 2 or 3 places that I've been, but I've been there for different like kind of work trips, and obviously like you and I went up there a couple of years ago, to watch the Magic play the Hawks. Hopefully in a few months I'll be able to say Berlin or London. I'm looking forward to that, but right now, it's New York.
All right, this is the last Jinx 2 F Jace question. It says favorite live concert. That's a good one.
My favorite live concert that I've been to. I am probably going to say the John Bellion show that I went to at UCF's Edition Arena. I want to say that was either in 2017 or 2018, the Glory Sound Prep Tour. That's just, John Bellion's my favorite artist. That's my favorite album by him. And it was just like such a phenomenal show. Like I know every song on that album word for word, and he's just super talented. He's one of those guys that will take, I don't even know what they call it, like the MIDI, like the sound pad, and like produce live on stage and like recreate the instrumental to the song, and then like do all of that, and just the visuals and everything to that were awesome. And then I've been to like a handful of state champ shows. Like that's probably my favorite like band, I guess. And all of their shows are awesome too. What about you?
Love that. My favorite band of all time is Coldplay, and I've been privileged to see them twice. And it's just, for me, it's like I don't want to say out of body experience, but it's just sensory overload. It's like you're seeing this great band, and they're always obviously huge football stadiums, so the venue's crazy. There's 50 to 100,000 people depending on what building you're in. So there's a ton of people, ton of energy, and then you just add like the production level to it, just the lasers and the fireworks and the pyro and the confetti that goes off 6 times in one show. Like
that's a different kind of experience from what I'm talking about for sure.
Yes, exactly. It's just sensory overload. But I love Coldplay. They're my favorite band. But musically, my favorite concert is Jacob Collier as well. Like seen him twice as well. I mean, he's the musician's musician, as I always say, and he's a different level, and his shows are amazing. So yeah. Okay. This is a similar question. Only Franz says coolest villain any genre. Do you have a change to your answer? A coolest villain?
Coolest villain
versus a favorite villain?
Man, coolest villain. I don't really know. Like Itachi Uchiha is kind of like as cool as it gets, in my opinion. I'm trying to think. I think that's got to be my answer. Like the iconic, silhouette of him, like on the totem pole, like with the moonlight behind him. If you're a Naruto fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like it just doesn't get any cooler than Itachi.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I have any cool ones, but I mean, Darth Vader's cool. Loki, I mean, Loki's cool, but like, is he a villain by the end of all this stuff? I mean, these days he's not, so I don't know.
Hey, Itachi, not so bad by the end of it, so I think that counts.
Okay, there we go.
Magic Wired wants to know, how good was your high school football team?
I think we had a question very similar to this last year, because I remember giving this same answer. My football team in high school was awful, really bad. My baseball team in high school was one of the best in the country. And so that was fun watching. Literally my sophomore, junior year, I can't remember, they ended up USA Today #1 at the end of the season. Like it was an elite team with several, I mean, like 5 or 6 guys played in the majors from that one team, which was crazy. But football team was dog water, really bad.
So the football team by the time I graduated was not that great. Like I want to say like probably around 500. My freshman year, our JV team went completely undefeated and we're beating teams like 58-0. But then the varsity team, I believe, went like 8-2. I think there might have been like 10 games in that season. But they went into the playoffs and lost like 63-3 in the first round. So I went to Ridgewood High School. They lost to Seabreeze. I think that would have been in 2007, if I remember correctly. But the funny thing about my high school is that we had the best running back, at least in our division, like 5A, like the best running back in the state. He like broke the state record for like rushing yards and touchdowns that season. And his last name started with an A. So he wore this shirt that said A Train, and it had a picture from him out of the newspaper, like running the ball, like stiff arming someone. And after the football season, he played on the varsity basketball team, and I was on the JV basketball team. And I'm sitting in the locker room, and this dude is like built like a grown man, like 6 foot, like 220 pounds. Like I thought he was 35 when I was 14. And he comes into the locker room, and I look at him, and this tells you what kind of kid I was. I look at him, I go, man, how conceited do you have to be to have a shirt with your own picture on it? And he kind of goes, well, when you lead the state of Florida in rushing, you can wear a picture, with your shirt on it. And in that game, in the playoffs against Seabreeze, he had like 30-something rushing yards. So I go, yeah, how many yards you have against Seabreeze? He picked me up by my backpack straps, threw me in the shower in the basketball locker rooms, and turned them on and walked away. Yeah. Yep. So,
oh man,
yeah,
it's like straight out of a movie.
It literally was
wild.
It really was.
Oh,
yeah, I'm lucky
gosh.
He didn't beat the crap out of me.
I was about to say, you kind of deserve it though. Let's be
100%, 100%. Yeah,
I have never heard that before. That is great. That's a great story. I love that. All right, in Weston 1414 says, if they were to make a Space Jam 3 in the next 5 years, who would be the main character and who would be the Monstars? That's another good question. What do you think?
The main character 5 years from now would be Victor Wembanyama, and the Monstars would be the starting five of the Orlando Magic. And the Monstars in this version would win.
Win? Oh my gosh.
That's right, baby.
I agree with the Victor thing, just obviously, not just because of the star power, but because of the international star power, like Warner Brothers or whoever makes that movie, they'll want to, capitalize on that. And then, Monstars. I mean, Paolo would be in there. Think about the Monstars back then. It was like 4 of the best players, and then Sean Bradley, I think, was in there or something like that. So
Muggsy was in there.
Yeah, Muggsy Bogues. Yeah, he was not one of the best players, but he was obviously a very popular player. Yeah. So take 3 really good players, 1 popular player, and just 1 really big dude. You can kind of pick and choose what those 5 would be.
Kind of like the starting 5 of the Magic.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. N Weston 1414 asks, what are your top 3 favorite U.S. cities outside of Florida and why?
Probably have to go New York. I'm going to use my bias and say Indianapolis, just because I don't know if you heard, Jonathan. I lived there for 4 years, so
I have heard.
It's a city that's very near and dear to my heart.
Newport News.
Yeah, well, no, not that one. That's for sure. And then I love DC. I'll probably go DC. Yeah, I'll say New York, Indianapolis, and DC. Wow, 3 very different cities, but that's where I'll go.
I'm gonna go a little different. I'm gonna go New York. Outside of that, I'm kicking it way back to small towns that are relevant to me, just because I haven't been many places. I'll go Austintown, Ohio, because I lived there for a little while as I was a kid, and my mom and brother lived there. So I would go back and visit there every summer and every Christmas. And then I'm going to go Hackensack, New Jersey, where I was born, and also home of the White Manna Diner. If you know, you know. They've been on, what is it? Diners, drive-ins, and dives, all that kind of stuff. Just like this, like it literally as big as the office that I'm in right now. And like all they do is like White Castle style, like little sliders, and just absolutely phenomenal.
Love that. That sounds great. All right, we got 2 more from our patrons before we go to the mass general public. Ran says, What conspiracies do you believe in? Oh, snap.
That the league orchestrated Luka Doncic to the Lakers and then gave them Cooper Flag. Like, that is the most like recent conspiracy theory that, like, as time goes on, it just makes more and more sense. Like, when we see the stuff like, oh, well, if LeBron ever leaves the Lakers, he's going to Dallas and all this kind of, like, every few weeks we get like another little nugget that's like, oh yeah, this was 100% fixed.
Yeah, I tend to believe that as well. Got a couple non-sports ones. This is one that I've generated myself. I haven't seen this anywhere else, but this just came from my own brain many years ago. That PetSmart or Petco or all these pet companies, they're the ones that generated all these pet holidays. Have you ever noticed how many pet holidays there are? You know,
I have.
There's National Dog Day, National Cat Day, National Pet Day, National all these different pet days. I'm convinced it is by those pet companies to get you to buy stuff. That's what I'm just convinced of. A much deeper conspiracy theory. I think there are some pharmaceutical companies that have some shady conspiracy stuff, but I won't get into that. Okay, here's another one. This is a stretch, but I think that in public schools, and really in any schools that I know of, they don't teach personal finance in middle school or high school. And that is done by the credit card companies who are lobbying in Congress and all those things to keep this out of the curriculums, so that young people, when they turn 18, when they go out on their own, they can rack up credit card debt and pay the credit card companies a lot of money, or the mortgage companies or the car loan companies or whatever, because they don't know how to handle finances or debt or all those kinds of things. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's a good one. The other one that I have is like, and this isn't like related to like, you know, how serious COVID was or was not, but I believe that so many corporations saw COVID and like all the circumstances as like a real opportunity to reset the way that they do like a lot of things. To like try to save money, and then like when they're called out on it, it was COVID. Like, COVID, just a lot of places like use that excuse a little bit too much. Like, for example, the fact that like we don't really have many 24-hour Walmarts anymore, that's a problem for me. The fact that like I can't go out and get Taco Bell sometimes at like 3 a.m. like I used to be able to 5 or 6 years ago. These are not actual real problems, but I know that it was like, oh, hey, look at this. Well, sales are down because nobody's going anywhere, so we're going to close this, and then we're just never going to have things go back to the way that they used to be because they realized, oh, you know, we're making more money this way.
Yeah, it's tough.
I've got some other conspiracies that I believe in that I am not going to share with y'all.
Oh, boy. All right, you got the last one of the patrons.
Okay, Ryan Blue Dragon, which teams other than the Thunder do you think will be playing on opening night on NBC?
Good question. I don't think the Magic will be there.
I'll say the Lakers. Easy.
Yeah, Lakers. I was going to say the Knicks. Let me just predict the matchups. Why not? If they're sticking with two like TNT always did, OKC is going to be the first game. So I'm going to go OKC hosting. Oh gosh, why did I put myself on the spot like this? I'll say OKC hosting I'll say the Knicks, and then I will say the late game will be Lakers and Clippers. That's what I'm going to say. Lakers, Clippers, LA matchup. That's my prediction for those two matchups. Okay, now we get to move on to the general public. Don't worry, we're only an hour and 10 minutes into this thing. And we're just now getting to the questions from Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. They're about the same amount. So we're looking at a 2-hour episode, but let's go. Justin Han on Instagram says, this is a great question. If you could shoot 5 liquids from your fingers, one from each finger, what liquid would you pick for each finger? It doesn't have to be edible. What a question, by the way.
I'm going like oil, like from the middle of the earth, oil. If I could just have like an endless supply of oil, I would be probably the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
like
retire
if I could
today.
Yeah. Mm. Next, I'm probably going to go water just because like I'm a big water drinker. Outside of that, probably Gatorade, specifically Gator Light. because it's like doesn't have all the sugar. It has more sodium. I drink it like constantly when I'm out on the golf course. So I'm not going to put my finger in my mouth like I was just about to be like, hey, look at this, because that would be awkward. Outside of that, I'm probably going to go Yoo-Hoo, number 4. I'm a big Yoo-Hoo guy. Some people are like, oh, that's not chocolate milk. You're right. Right on the label, it says chocolate drink. So like, if you're like a chocolate milk purist, like, oh my gosh, that's not chocolate milk. You're right. They're not trying to be chocolate milk. They're trying to be their own thing. And some people are like, oh, I don't like how thin it is. That's what's so great about it. If I buy a Yoo-Hoo at the gas station, I'm cracking that bad boy when I sit down in my car, and it's gone before I pull out of the parking spot. Like, that's not an exaggeration. I can pound some Yoo-Hoo. And then another liquid outside of that, maybe like Dr. Pepper. I love Dr. Pepper's probably my favorite soda. I've been doing more of like the diet. Oh, look at this. Diet, like zero sugar. This is the Dr. Pepper and cream soda that I have here. But I'll probably go Dr. Pepper 5.
We are very different. First off, the crude oil is a great shout. I would not have thought about that. That's a good one. But you do have to be careful. What if you're trying to get a drink of water and you accidentally do the oil finger? Like, that'd be a problem. That'd be bad.
Well, you know what? Like, in public, I'm probably like pouring it. But like, yeah, if you're at home, you're just like, oh, I'm just going to have some water here. Yeah, I'll probably go thumb. Like, just like, like the thumb is probably the last one that you're just like, oh, let me, if it's any of the other ones, it's probably easy to mix. Like, wait, which one's which again?
Right.
So if you go thumb, you're probably the safest there.
I'm not going to steal it, but if I'm just sitting at home and I just have this thing connected to my pinky, like that drains the oil out, which sounds weird and just makes me a ton of money, that's a W. But I won't steal that one. I'm going a very different route. I'm got a couple drinks, but I'm thinking of some very practical and safety options for the other ones. I'm definitely going water. And then for my drink, I'm probably going strawberry milk, similar to Yoo-Hoo. I love strawberry milk. But then the other 3, I'm probably going like, first off, the water can be used also as a flame, extinguisher. So that's a good double meaning. But I was going to do like fire extinguisher material, that stuff out of one finger, like always there to save the day for all the fires that I always encounter all the time, No, just kidding. And then I wish I could choose. If I could just say blood of any type, I would do that. Because if someone needs blood, I could just give them blood really fast, just clean.
You could just like cut the tip of your finger off and do that.
I know, but what I was referring to is obviously all the different blood types. Like if there's like a, I don't know if I could choose that, but that wouldn't work. And then probably gasoline, just like 87 unleaded gasoline. Someone's stranded on the side of the road. You can just stick your pinky in there, and they're off to the races. So. All right, I'm done with that one. It's your turn. Let's move on, please.
Yeah. Okay. Chris DE4KM on YouTube says, what are your guys' family history or background or nationality percentage if you have more than one? And then whatever you guys are comfortable sharing about yourself, just trying to know more about you guys if you want to share more. No pun intended. Okay. Family history. I really don't know a ton about my family history just because my relationship and my parents' relationship with my grandparents is kind of complicated, I guess, to say the least. I've never done like the ancestry or like the 23andMe thing just because talk about conspiracies. I'm just terrified that they're going to take my DNA and like either clone me or, which I don't know why anybody would want to do that, or like frame me for some type of crime that I didn't commit. So I'm always a little stitious about that. But what I've been told, my mother's last name is Zero, which I'm actually told is Ukrainian. But like English, German, been told like, we have some like Native American as well. What's really funny is a few years ago, I was at a Magic game and our good friend Tony Quinn took a photo of me, like kind of like side profile. And somebody commented on the photo like, oh, you're definitely Eastern European. And I was like, I mean, yeah, but like, kind of crazy that you just deduced that from, I'm guessing, my schnoz, from the side profile. So in terms of like, I don't really know percentage. Those are just the things that I've been told. They may or may not be true. I really don't know.
Gotcha. I am, from what I have gathered, mostly Scottish and Irish. A little more Scottish than Irish. But yeah, that's pretty much where both sides of my family have roots from. But yeah, a little Scottish, a little Irish for me. Okay, next one is from Gabe D. GG99 on Instagram. Says, what is both of your top 5 fast food places? We already did that one, so hopefully that answer satisfies your question. So I'm going to go on to Dalek93 on X. Says, if you could live in a fictional world, which one would you live in? There's a lot of good ones out there.
I would probably go in a world that is as close to what we live in now as possible, that isn't super dangerous, has the potential to be, but also has the potential for some really cool stuff. Like if I'm thinking about like the anime and stuff, like, or like some of the video games and movies that I like, in almost every single one of them, I'm dead like pretty early on. So I'm going to go Harry Potter, because like if you're a muggle and you're just completely unaware of like the whole like, you know, magical world that exists, we could be living in the Harry Potter world right now. We're muggles. We just don't really realize that. But in the instance where you are a, you know, witch or wizard, like being able to experience like Hogwarts and everything like that, and like that whole world to me would be awesome.
I thought about Harry Potter, the Shire, I think, if you go Lord of the Rings.
Middle Earth?
Yeah, well,
brother, you're definitely dead in Middle Earth.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. The Shire, though, like before some of the stuff really hit the fan, like the Shire
that's a
was
little
just,
corner in the fictional world,
of course,
brother.
but it was a very peaceful place, and everyone's just so jolly, and everyone knows their role, and everyone works together, and it's a nice place. Now, did they encounter some, you know, difficulties along the way? Maybe, but yeah, I'll probably go like, I mean, Harry Potter's a great one too, but specifically in Middle Earth, I'll say the Shire.
I like it. Life as a Magic fan on X asks, what are y'all's favorite hobbies, interests outside of the Magic and sports in general?
I don't know what I don't know what that is. No, just kidding. I mean, we have families, so my family, it's pretty much work and sports and the Magic and family. And that's about it. I'm okay with that for now. But you've got the golf thing going on, right?
Well, I was gonna say like sports and like I guess it's not really like, they probably mean like viewing sports. But yeah, like my like biggest hobby outside of the Magic and family and everything, it would definitely be golf. You know, I'm also like a big video game guy. I think there's a Expedition 33 question coming up here, but like that was one of the more like recent games that I played and loved. And then you know, anime as well, like a lot of the pop culture stuff, you know, movies, shows. You know, I try to get into some of that stuff in the off season as well, but golf is definitely the big one for me.
Gotcha. All right, Magic Man Evan on X. It's a 3-parter. He's got 3 separate ones here, which I appreciate. First one, what's a completely irrational hill you're willing to die on? Something you know makes no sense, but you'll defend it forever. Let's just go one at a time. So do you have a irrational hill that you're willing to die on that you can think of?
The irrational hill that I'm willing to die on is that I don't have any irrational hills.
Really?
Every hill that I have, I think it makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
And my wife will tell you that about me, that it's like, it's to a fault. Like I will only shop at like certain Publixes because I find them to be better than other Publixes. Like she'll be like, oh, I'm going to Publix. I'm like, well, what Publix are you going to? I'm going to this one. I'm like, why would you go to that Publix? This one's so much better. And like, oh, why did you buy those paper towels? These ones are so much better. Like I have stuff like that drives my wife absolutely crazy. Yeah.
So you will drive out of your way to go to a different Publix than one that is closer.
Well, but where we live now, no, because the only other like I have a Publix that's 10 minutes from me. That's on the outside of our neighborhood, and then the next Publix is like 20 minutes away. But we used to live where we lived like literally like 6.5 minutes from each Publix. And I would always go to, you know, a certain one, and the wife would always go to another one, and that would kind of drive me crazy. But no, if I did have to drive like 5 minutes further to go to a different one that I liked more, I definitely would. Maybe that's it. Like it's an irrational thing that like this Publix is better than that one, but like sometimes like the layouts are just better. Sometimes one Publix like carries specific items like the other one doesn't. I'll go to a Publix and like, if the lady in the deli is really nice to me and does a good job making my sandwich, like if it comes down to something like that, if I go to one place, they do a really good job making my sandwich, I go to another and they screw it up even one time, I'm always going to that other Publix. So maybe that's mine.
I see. Okay, here's mine. Jonathan, how do you spell the number 4? How do you spell that word?
Four.
Okay, how do you spell the word fourth? Like fourth place. How do you spell fourth?
I don't know. Is it Forth?
No.
It's not.
No,
Forth, then I'm
that's
guessing.
Right. Yep. How do you spell the number? How do you spell the number 14?
Fourten.
That's right. Yep. Now, how do you spell the number 40, Jonathan?
Forty.
Yeah. That's stupid.
That's not irrational.
That bothers me. Well, some people think it is. I think that is the dumbest
Grammar
thing.
stuff bothers you, though.
Oh, big time. Yeah, big time. But yeah, the fact that the number 4 is Four, then fourth is Forth, 14 is Fourteen, and then 40 is Forty. Where's the U? Where are you? You know, that's the whole thing.
That's a problem.
Had a whole thing about that in college where I tried to get the dictionary changed, but that didn't work.
That is right. I knew it was something like that. Well, The one thing I will say, because this is Magic Man Evan Fournier is good. A lot of people think that's irrational.
Well, this is anything but magic. Supposed to be anything but
magic, but that's the only thing that really comes to mind.
Yep. Okay, his second question is, what is one super common piece of advice that you think is actually terrible? That's a good one.
I went last. I went first last, so you go.
Well, okay, fine.
First here.
One of my least favorite pieces of advice is don't, and this is, you can find this in the Bible, so this is somewhat sacrilegious, but don't go to sleep angry. I don't like that piece of advice because whether it's with your spouse or somebody else or whatever, sometimes it is necessary to get rest before you approach a topic or situation or something that you are heated about. Sometimes it is important. Like if you at the end of the day, you're worn out, you've had a tough day, it's a stressful thing, it's a controversial thing, whatever. Sometimes sleeping on it is actually a really good thing, and you don't have to solve it right away. Get a little rest, get a little perspective, put a few hours between your anger and the confrontation, and I think it's more often than not, it's a good thing.
I will, not that I necessarily disagree with that, but what I have found to be helpful in those situations is like almost kind of like doing a timeout. Like, hey, like we're having this heated conversation. We've got to go to bed. Like I'm going to bed. Like, you know how I feel about this, but like I still love you. Everything's totally fine. And then, you can pick it up later on. Something that like people say a lot is like, oh, just do what makes you happy. Right. That is terrible advice.
Follow your heart.
Like that kind of stuff. Like, and we'll talk, more about like our, worldview and the things that we believe in, a little bit further into the episode here. But like living for yourself is one of the least fulfilling things. Like, is probably the least fulfilling way that you could possibly choose to live your life. Like just doing what makes you happy all the time, doing what you think is best for you. Like it's just such a shallow way to live. And you hear that a lot. And I just think that's terrible. And then Magic Man Evans' third question is, if you could instantly master one random skill, what would it be?
Easily
golf.
For me. Oh, yeah, golf. Okay.
Just golf. Simple.
That's it. For me, it's easily what we call polyglots, or people that can speak a bunch of languages. For me, sign me up. There are some people out there that are just gifted where they can pick up languages very quickly. That would be awesome. I would love to be able to speak a lot of languages, but so far I can only speak, really one. Bits and pieces of other ones, but fluent in one, and that's not fun, but oh well. Okay, this is a question just for you, because I've never pulled any trading cards ever. Carson Tulo, or Lil Tulo on X, says, what's your favorite trading card you've ever pulled, non-Magic, of course?
So if I go back to like, when I was a kid, when Pokemon first came out, like I had all of the like, either the first I don't remember if it was first edition or it was like the base set, like holographic Blastoise and Charizard. Like I had all of those, but the one that I can like really vividly remember, a few years ago, I was at Publix, and if you're a Pokemon person, you're going to know what I'm talking about here. On a clip strip on like the candy aisle, there was like 8 packs of Evolving Skies, of like little booster packs, which it's like unheard of, to find those nowadays. And out of one of those packs, I pulled the Rayquaza like VMAX like alt art. And I got that graded by PSA, and it ended up being a PSA 9. So I sold that for like $700 actually a few months ago. And like pulling that out of a pack where I just wasn't expecting it whatsoever. Like it was a $4 pack, and that turned into a $700 card. Like for me, like that was that was pretty crazy. So that's probably my favorite trading card that I've ever pulled. And then Luke Sylvia 96. Wonder if this guy knows our Luke Sylvia. He wants to know who's your dream broadcast team that you'd handpick to call a Magic game, play-by-play, color commentator, sideline reporter. You can mix and match from all broadcast channels, but it can't be the Magic broadcast team, Kevin.
I saw this one early, was talking with Luke about it, so I was able to take my time, pick my three, pick my trio. First name might surprise some people, second two names less so. But I genuinely think, and maybe this is just it's been so long since I've heard him call an NBA game, but he's about to soon. I always loved Mike Tirico calling NBA games. And fortunately for us, he's getting ready to do that again with NBC this year, which I'm really excited about. I love Mike Tirico calling games, so I'll pick him as play-by-play. Walt Clyde Frazier from the Knicks as the color guy. I think he's great, entertaining, funny, very smart, very successful as a player. Love his spirit and his attitude. And then, sideline, it's got to be Craig Sager. Come on. It's Craig Sager. He's the legend, the GOAT. That's what I'll go. That's my three.
This one is pretty tough for me. So my thought was to kind of go with some of my favorite video game voice actors. I'm trying to think of the one right now. Oh my gosh, this is going to drive me crazy because he not only, and some people are going to hate this, when I watch anime, I watch it in the language that I know. So I watch a lot of English dubs. But the voice actor for Sasuke Uchiha is actually the same. His name is Yuri something. I forget his last name now. The same voice actor that voice acts Sasuke and also Spider-Man in the new Marvel games. When I made that connection, I'm like, well, this dude is absolutely one of my, favorite guys ever. Outside of that, Ben Starr, who voices Clive Rossfield in Final Fantasy 16, but also Verso in Expedition 33. So I'm going to go, what is his name? It's going to drive. It's Yuri. Yeah. Yuri Lowenthal will be my play-by-play. Ben Starr will be my color. And then sideline reporter. This is tough. I really have no idea. Sideline. I'm just gonna steal yours and say Craig Sager. I don't think you can get any better than that. But this is definitely Kevin's wheelhouse for sure.
Yeah, that was a very unique way of approaching that. I appreciate that at least.
Yeah.
All right. BORL Magic on X says, "What's everyone's favorite color?" Well, I don't know what everyone's favorite color is. But maybe Jonathan and I can just give our favorite colors. What's your favorite color, Jonathan?
If you're listening to this podcast, it better be blue, baby.
I was about to say, come on. It's Magic Blue, which my favorite color changed this past summer, honestly, because the Magic's color blue changed as well.
I'll tell you, the Magic Blue before was buns, dude.
I know it was.
The electric blue is where it's at.
It is, for sure.
Or some may say the 6-man show blue is where it's at.
Okay. I like it.
We got asked this before. This is JJ4T12 win 10 on X says, in honor of T Ross joining the show, puts parentheses maybe someone we're looking for someone for the 6-fan show, and someone on Twitter said that it should be T Ross, which would be awesome to have him guest host the 6-fan show one day. Yeah. But he asks, what's your favorite conspiracy theory? We already covered that one.
Yeah, I think
my favorite conspiracy theory would offend some people, so I'm just not going to go into that respectfully. And then Duval T87 on X asks, favorite TV shows, Kevin? I think I know yours. Can we try to guess one another's?
Sure, yeah.
Yours is Breaking Bad.
That's my favorite show of all time, correct. Your favorite show of all time is Entourage?
Dude. You're joking, right?
No, it's... Oh,
no, you're actually kidding.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Sorry. Okay, yeah. I was thinking the drama stuff. What's that one drama
Entourage
that you like?
Is up there.
Okay.
Entourage is definitely up there.
Okay, I knew you liked that one. Sorry, I forgot about the childish comedies. Yeah, you're right. Boy Meets World should be up there for you. But anyway, but what about have you watched anything lately? current favorites?
Last summer, I watched Friday Night Lights, which I didn't watch, when it came out in what was it, 2005, 2007. And my buddy was like, hey, I really think that you would like this. And I think it's four seasons long, 4 or 5 seasons. The first 2 seasons are awesome. And then the third season's pretty good. And then I remember either it's 4 or 5 seasons, but towards the end, it kind of this show's kind of run its course. It's one of those that it ends when it should. But that's really good. And then, when it comes to TV shows, we could talk about, you could consider anime, TV shows like Naruto, Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer. I'm watching Solo Leveling, the 2nd season right now. Really enjoying that a lot. Jujutsu Kaisen, all of that kind of stuff. But Boy Meets World is my comfort watch. I can turn that on anytime.
Yeah. But for me, that's The Office. Love The Office.
Office.
But
yeah.
My favorite current show that is currently active is very controversial for people that are in this space, but I loved Rings of Power on Amazon from the Lord of the Rings.
I heard it was really good.
Well, some people hate it. If you're a diehard Lord of the Rings fan, some people hate it because it goes against a lot of stuff in the books and stuff. But I love Lord of the Rings. I'm not a snob about it. I don't mean that in a bad way, but some people stick really true to Tolkien stuff, and I get that. But for me, I just loved being able to go back to that world again. I love the show. It's one of the few shows I've watched twice. Wow. I don't ever rewatch. I've never rewatched Breaking Bad all the way through, even though it's my favorite show of all time. I rewatched season 1 of Rings of Power before season 2 came out, and it was awesome.
Thanks for listening to The Sixth Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Spotify to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps out the show a lot. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sixth Man Show. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic!